Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you to today's RelSci nonprofit webinar, where we're going to walk through some of the basics of the RelSci platform. My name is Tara and I'm here with my colleague Jenny. Today's presentation will last approximately 45 minutes, and you can submit any questions you have throughout the presentation within the chat question feature within GoToWebinar. I'm also going to leave a couple of extra minutes at the end, so if anyone comes up with any last-minute questions, feel free to submit them. We will have a Q&A session at the end where I'll go over any questions that are submitted. If we run out of time and don't get a chance to get to your question, we will send up a direct response to you. So today's webinar is designed to serve as a basic training of the RelSci platform. Whether this is your first encounter with RelSci or if you have joined as a refresher, we hope that after today's session you're better equipped to start unleashing your organization's relationship capital. If you're interested in a more tailored one-on-one training after this webinar, please feel free to reach out to your RelSci account manager. Whether you are a cause-based organization or a higher education institution, there are a number of ways of which you can get value out of RelSci. Today, we will cover how to ensure that your account is set up properly, as well as an overview of some of our most utilized tools. So just for some background on RelSci, Relationship Science is a business development tool that allows you and your firm to privately upload your existing network of contacts to uncover access points to individuals or corporations and foundations that you want to work with that you don't currently have a relationship with. We've created a universe where we've profiled over 4.5 million influential individuals, such as named executives, high net worth people, board members, and over 1.5 million of their affiliated organizations, which span the public, private, nonprofit, and financial sectors. All the information that you see in RelSci, you can't hear anything? Oh wait, maybe it's my audio pin, because this is plugged in. Could be. Oh, I have it.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Great. Hi everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar, where we will walk through some of the basics of the RelSci platform. My name is Tara and I'm joined here by my colleague Jenny. Today's presentation will last approximately 45 minutes, and you can submit any questions throughout the presentation through the chat question feature within GoToWebinar. I will also leave a couple of minutes at the end for any last-minute questions that you might come up with. If we don't have time to get to your question at the end, our team at RelSci here will follow up with you directly. So today's webinar is designed to serve as a basic training of the RelSci platform. Whether this is your first encounter with RelSci or if you have joined as a refresher, we hope that after today's session you are better equipped to start unleashing your organization's relationship capital. If you're interested in a more tailored one-on-one training after this webinar, feel free to reach out to your RelSci account manager. Whether you are a cause-based organization or a higher education institution, there are a number of ways that you can get value out of RelSci. Today we will cover how to ensure that your account is set up properly, as well as an overview of some of our most utilized tools. So RelSci is a business development tool that allows you and your firm to privately upload your existing network of contacts to uncover access points to individuals or corporations and foundations that you want to work with that you don't currently have a relationship with. We've created a universe where we've profiled over 4.5 million influential individuals, such as named executives, high net worth people, board members, and over 1 million of their affiliated organizations, which span the public, private, nonprofit, and financial sectors. All the information that you see on RelSci is sourced by our 300-person research team, and it all comes from publicly verified sources. So that means any of the data that you see throughout the platform comes from company websites, press releases, public filings, as well as some third-party data vendors that we subscribe to. You'll never see any information from someone's Facebook or LinkedIn page here in RelSci. But most importantly, we've created a relationship mapping technology that sits on top of this data and allows you and your firm to map your contacts to your targets in a completely private and proprietary way. So anytime you're looking up an individual or you add a relationship within the system, no one will be notified on either end. All the activities that you and your firm do in RelSci are private to you. Additionally, as well, you will not see contact information in the platform. The idea is, that you load in your contacts, and these are people that you have in your personal Rolodex that you feel comfortable, if you uncover an interesting access point, that you can go and call that person up, the next day and say, hey, I saw that you know so-and-so, would you be willing to get that warm introduction for me? So this is our main landing page that you will see when you log into RelSci. So right here on the right-hand side, you'll see my relationships. So, I've gone in and uploaded my contacts. So depending on, where you store your contacts, is it LinkedIn, Outlook, Salesforce? This is where you would go in and upload your contacts. So out of those 4.5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, I have access to about 580 of them. And additionally, you'll see that larger number up at the top where it says my firm's relationships. A number of my colleagues have also gone in and loaded in their contacts as well. If you need to update your relationships, you just click this My Relationships button right here. And then right under Relationship Management, you're going to click Add More Relationships. And this is where, depending on where you store your contacts, so for example, let's say, most of your contacts are in LinkedIn. If you click the LinkedIn option, RelSci will provide step-by-step instructions on how to upload those contacts from your LinkedIn. Additionally, as well, we do have the CSV option. So if you keep, your contacts in an Excel spreadsheet, you can absolutely upload the Excel as well. At a bare minimum, RelSci needs full name and company affiliation, but if you have company email and role, the more information you can give on your contacts, the better for RelSci to make a match in the system. So now I'm going to click back to the main landing page. Next up you'll see is My 360 Alerts. So this is our news and alerts feature where you can subscribe to news on maybe your board members or prospect list you have or past clients that you just want to keep tabs on and see what they're up to. All of your RelSci alerts will be here on the main landing page, as well as you'll get an email digest first thing in the morning with your top news stories for that day. If you want to customize your news and alerts, you'll see here I subscribe to news and alerts on a variety of lists. But if you wanted to update your settings, go to the drop-down where your name is on the upper right-hand side. Click My Alert Settings. So this is where you can go in and customize your news and alert settings just for you. So if you want to get news on your relationships, you can absolutely do that, as well as a number of lists that you create within the system. You can also get news and alerts on any event lists you upload, as well as any causes or maybe industries that you just want to stay on top of. These are all things that you can absolutely subscribe to news and alerts on. As well. We also have this filter option too, so if you wanted to make an alert more specific, you just click this filter button and based on the list of individuals, if you would like to be notified when someone has a board or employment change or maybe gives to another charity, you can absolutely go in here and customize that alert here as well. I'm going to go back to our main landing page now, and then right up top where you see it says Discover Potential Donors in Your Network. So this is our donor search module, and what it's going to do is it's going to flash 3 new names in RelSci every 10 minutes of individuals who are located in your network, so there's a way for you to get a warm introduction to these particular individuals, and they have donated to causes similar to your organization. And if you click See More Donors, you'll expand into that a little bit more, which I'll go into more detail in a little bit. And then right up top, we have our Smart Search bar. So this is where you can go in and get smart on maybe a prospect or a corporation and a foundation that you're looking to work with. I'm going to pull up Melody Hobson as our first. And the Smart Search bar will come up with who you're looking for. So this is what an individual's profile looks like in RelSci. You'll see, who it is, where they work. If you wanted to add them as a relationship, you would just click this button here to add as a relationship. Additionally, as well, let's say Melody Hobson is someone I want to keep tabs on. Just have to click this following button right here. It'll light up yellow. and she will be included in my daily news and alerts digest on my main landing page as well as in my email first thing in the morning. Next up on her profile, we'll see recent 360 alerts. So this is any time that Melody has been mentioned in the news, over the past couple of weeks. What has she been up to? And then additionally as well, let's say Melody is a prospect of mine, or she's like, and you'll see how my firm as a whole maps to Melody. So it looks like, myself and two of my colleagues, Scott and Stanley, have tagged, that they know Melody. So they've gone in and, uploaded their contacts, and Melody is in their private Rolodexes. And so that's how I know that, I could possibly get a warm introduction to Melody. Any red line you'll see with pass will be a strong likelihood, orange will be average, and yellow will be weak. I'm going to scroll down the profile just so you get a full idea of what information we'll pick up on these individuals. We'll pick up, family information if publicly available, education, where has this person gone to school, any membership organizations that they're a part of. We'll also have a full career history, so where they work currently as well as where they've worked in the past. We also pick up any boards and committees that they're a part of. It could be corporate, government, or nonprofit if available. So you can see, Melody is very, very involved. We'll also pick up any donations and grants that the individual has been a part of. So Melody has, donated some money to the Chicago Public Education Fund as well as the Field Museum of Natural History. We'll pick up any political donations if available, as well as public holdings. So, does this person have stock in some public companies, as well as any awards and honors the person has been a part of, or any events that maybe they've attended or spoken at that are high level. Melody is a very public individual, so she has a very robust profile. If you're looking up someone who's maybe a little more private, there might not be as much information on them in RelSci. Next up, I'm going to scroll to Melody's relationship summary. So here I'm going to click See All on the right-hand side. So this is, Melody has not gone into RelSci and uploaded her contacts, although I'm sure we wish she would. RelSci believes that, out of those 4.5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, Melody has access to just over 3,400 of them. This is determined, through our RelSci algorithm, which looks at, what is the likelihood of an individual knowing another person? Where have they worked over the years? What membership organizations are they a part of? Have they done a transaction together? What boards and committees do they sit on? And then the algorithm is going to take it one step further and take a look at, these two individuals worked at Ariel Investments, for example. Was it recently or was it 10 years ago? How senior were these two individuals at the company? What are the chances that they actually overlapped? If it's a board that they sit on, is it a 10-person nonprofit board or is it a 100-person corporate board? All of this goes into determining the likelihood of strong, average, or weak relationship likelihood. You'll see the full list of who we believe, Melody has access to below. And you can hover over strong and see, why we think that, Melody could get us an introduction to John Rogers Jr. because they've overlapped on the board of Ariel Investments, as well as they're both on the board of the Chicago Public Education Fund, the Economic Club of Chicago. They're both trustees at Princeton, as well as they've done a transaction deal together as well. So there's been a number of overlap, throughout John and Melody's career. So we believe that, Melody could get us a warm introduction to John. You can kind of scroll through this list and see, who else, Melody has access to. There might be some really interesting individuals that you might have not considered, that she might have access to. Additionally, what some of our nonprofit clients will do is, let's say, Melody is a board member of mine and I really want to use, her Rolodex because, she's very influential and she has access to a lot of different people. We can, filter her relationship list. So if we click this filter button here, let's say I'm only interested in strong and average connections. I don't want to see weak. Additionally, as well, if there are certain relationship types I'm not interested in, I can unclick those as well. But, let's say I'm the Young Presidents Organization and, Melody's on my board and I already know about connection points through our organization and I want to filter those out. I can, remove any relationships through our particular organization. And then I can click Apply. And now those filters are being applied to Melody's relationship list. And then I can go in and, save this as a list in my RelSci account. And click Save as Melody Hobson's relationships. And, later on I can use that list to maybe leverage Melody a little bit more. I'm going to go back to Melody's profile. You can also print out any of these profiles in RelSci with this report button right up top. So maybe if you wanted to, show, your team members, this is Melody, I wanted you all to be up to speed on, her past career history and board involvement. We click this report button and we can create a custom PDF, and you can pick and choose, which pieces of the profile you'd like to include on Melody and print it out for your next team meeting. So you can also look up corporations and foundations. So, let's say I'm a university, and I'm looking at foundations to possibly donate to us. I can look up foundations as well. So I'm going to look up the Ford Foundation. So this is where, we can see what an organization's profile look like in RelSci. You'll see any 360 alerts, as well as, how your firm maps to a foundation in particular. So it looks like that myself and my colleague Mike have gone in and tagged that we know Ursula Burns, who is on the Board of Trustees at the Ford Foundation. So that could be an interesting access point to working with the Ford Foundation in the past, through our connection with Ursula. We can scroll down. We'll see any additional pathways we have to anyone influential at the Ford Foundation, as well as we'll pick up a company description. So, just a quick dossier on what they do. We'll have a full breakdown of their key personnel, as well as their Board of Trustees. Any of these blue names are completely clickable, so if you wanted to get smart on a certain executive, please go ahead and click that name. We'll scroll down the profile. We'll pick up any advisors and consultants, any individuals that have worked with, maybe done some transactions on behalf of the foundation, any nonprofit donation and grant information that the foundation has been a part of. We'll pick up members, as well as maybe any investments that they've been a part of, suppliers, and sponsorship. So this is a great way to kind of get smart on a foundation, that you'd like to work with in the future. You can follow the Ford Foundation if you want to just stay on top of them, see when anytime they're mentioned in the news, click that follow button, and also you can report out these profiles as well. So next up, we're going to go into our Pathfinder tool, and if we scroll down to where we see My Firm's Paths to the Ford Foundation, we'll click See All Paths. So our Pathfinder tool is where you can map any entity to any entity. So right now we have it going from My Firm's relationships to the Ford Foundation. So it looks like Thomas Hagar has gone in and tagged that he knows Thurgood Marshall Jr., who's on the Board of Trustees at the Ford Foundation. So that could be a really interesting access point for my organization to possibly get a warm introduction to Thurgood. Anytime you see a red line, that'll indicate a strong likelihood. Orange will be average and yellow will be weak. You can change the from and the to. So for example, let's say I was a nonprofit. I could do, my top donor list. To my top prospect list. Maybe some of my top donors that I have a really good relationship with, might be able to uncover some interesting access points to some of my prospects, that I didn't realize. So I can scroll through this list and it looks like Anthony Walters, who is a top donor of mine, is connected to Ron Perlman because they're both currently on the board of NYU Langone Medical Center, as well as they're both involved with the JFK Center for Performing Arts. So that's a great way to kind of utilize some of my top donors. They're already really affiliated with our organization, and they might have some interesting pathways to, my prospects moving forward for the next couple of months. These are people, that I really want our foundation to work with in particular. Additionally as well, it looks like Anthony could get us a warm introduction to Fred Wilson because they're both currently on the Board of Trustees at NYU together. So that's another interesting access point, that I might be able to uncover. Moving forward in the Pathfinder tool, you can change this from and to. So I have it going from my top donor list to my top prospect list. But additionally as well, let's say if there's maybe an organization where you guys have a really good relationship with those senior executives, you could type in the company and run, from Coca-Cola to my top prospect lists. Or, let's say maybe you have, a list of target corporations that you want to work with. You can absolutely run, my firm's relationships to those target corporations and see how you guys could get a warm introduction, to those companies. There's a lot that you can do here. You can also filter paths as well. So if we click this filter button, if there's certain path types you might not be interested in, for example, a transaction deal, you can unclick that. As well, you can remove paths exclusively through an organization. So let's say, you're running top donors to top prospects and you know that a variety of them are also involved with another nonprofit, let's say the American Cancer Society. I can remove paths exclusively through an organization as well. Select that here. Additionally as well, let's say I'm running my board members to my top prospects, and there's a board member of mine that I know they have a lot on their plate right now. I don't think they're going to be able to help me go after those warm introductions to individuals that I want to work with. I can remove paths exclusively through an individual as well. And then you just click apply, and now you've just customized your path report for your workflow. Additionally as well, you can print out these path reports. So you just click this report button, and you can do a PDF, which I think is a little more visually pleasing, or a CSV, which will be an Excel file. And you can pick and choose, how many paths you want to print, or maybe the top 10, and bring those to your next team meeting and show your colleagues, what you've uncovered. Next up, we're going to go into our Power Search tool, which is how you generate prospect lists in RelSci. So you can look for individuals or organizations that fit a certain criteria. This is our most popular prospecting tool. And you'll see right now we're on the People tab, so we're prospecting for individuals. And you'll see along the left-hand side, there are a variety of categories that, we can filter based on location, career board. Let's say you're looking for those high-level executives. You can look for individuals based on where they went to school, how much they made in compensation, or donations. So just for an example, let's say, I'm a foundation and I'm located in New York, so I only want individual donors who will be located in the area. And, let's say, I really want those high-level executives because I believe that those people have the capacity to make a high-level donation. So I'm going to go to Career Board, and where it says Show Any Role, I'm going to type in C-Suite and Senior Management, because those are the individuals I want to go after here for this particular search. And I'm going to scroll down and go to our Donations field, so click that. And, I'm a foundation and we're raising money for cancer research. So I can go in and select Show Donors to Cancer Research. Additionally, as well, you can show donors to a certain organization as well, if that's the parameters of your search. We're going to scroll down and click Search. So now Power Search is going, out of those 4.5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, who is located in New York, is a C-suite and senior level executive, and has donated to cancer research in the past. So you'll see there's 160 individuals who fit that criteria. So you'll look on the left-hand side. Then you'll see Jamie Dimon, who's the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and he has donated to lymphoma research in the past. And then across from that, you'll see your firm's shortest path to get a warm introduction to Jamie. So it looks like, we could get a warm introduction to him through Stephen Burke. Or Henry Kravis, who is the chairman and CEO of KKR, has donated to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. And it looks like 2 of my colleagues have a connection point to Henry. So this could be a really great prospect list for me moving forward. These are the targeted individuals that I'm going to be focusing on for the next couple of months. So if I wanted to create a prospect list, I would just click this Add To button, select a list, and I could go in and name it New York Cancer Donors C-Suite. Click Save. And now that'll be a prospect list in my RelSci account. And now what I would do is I would go up back into our Pathfinder tool and run my firm to that C-suite cancer donors in New York list and see, maybe what connection points I could uncover. Additionally, as well, in Power Search, you can look for organizations that fit a certain criteria. So let's say, I'm a university and I'm located in Atlanta, and I'm looking for corporations that are located in Atlanta and have donated to higher ed and universities before. So make sure you're on the Organizations tab here. For location, I'm going to click Atlanta, and I'm looking for companies who have donated to, instead of cancer research, I'm going to do higher education and universities. I'm going to scroll down and click Search. So now what RelSci is doing is, out of those 1 million plus organizations that we have profiled, who is located in Atlanta and has donated to higher education and universities before. So it looks like we have 225 companies. So AT&T is located in Atlanta, and it looks like they've donated to Trinity as well as the University of Texas in the past. So we believe that there would be a high likelihood, that they would be interested in donating to another university in the Atlanta area. And additionally, you'll see across from that, how we as an organization could get a warm introduction to someone influential at AT&T, and it looks like through my colleague Susan Myers. Additionally, as well, Bank of America is located in Atlanta, and it looks like they have donated to the Woodford College and Atlanta University Center as well. So, we know it's a large corporation. They've donated to higher ed before, because of the location and their donation history. We believe that there would be a high likelihood that they would be interested in donating to us. If this is your corporation prospects list moving forward, you can absolutely click the Add to List button, name this list, and save it in your account. And then what I would recommend is go back up into our Pathfinder tool and plug that search in. Next step we're going to do is we're going to go into our donor search tool. So this is one of our most popular tools for our nonprofit clients. Donor search is a prospecting tool strictly for individuals. This tool is going to cast a wider net, since it looks for, individuals who have either worked at, sat on the board of, or donated to causes similar to your organization. So, let's say I'm a hospital, I'm located in Denver, and I'm looking for individuals in that area who have donated to medical research. So for location, I'm going to type in Denver. And for cause, it's medical research. I'm going to click Show Donors. So now what RelSci is doing is, out of those 4.5 million influential individuals, who's located in Denver and has donated to medical research in the past. These are individuals that, as a hospital, these are prospects that we want to go after. So it looks like Greg Engels, who is the CEO at the White Wave Foods Co., is located in Denver and has donated to AIDS research in the past. So we believe that, because of his interest, there would be a strong likelihood that he would be interested in donating to a medical research initiative at our hospital. It looks like we could get a warm introduction to him through Diana Taylor. So you can kind of scroll through this list and see, who are these individuals who are located in Denver and have donated to causes similar to us. Additionally, as well, if this is a prospect list that you want to do, all you have to do is just click the Add to List button here. For donor search, you can type in a cause, or you can type in your organization as well. If there are other organizations that are similar and maybe have great donors, you can go in and see, what have other people donated to that's similar to your organization as well. So that's just another way to approach the search. And then next up, do you plan events, on behalf of your organization? I know for a lot of nonprofits, these annual galas are big money makers for these organizations. So we have, if you click into our RSVP search tool, let's say, I am New York Presbyterian Hospital, and we're hosting an annual gala. And I want to, start to curate a list of invitees of who I think we should invite to this event. Who's going to have the capacity to donate. I'm going to click Explore after I typed in my organization. And what RSVP search is doing now is it's taking a look at, who is our senior management connected to? Who are the board members of our hospital connected to, as well as our donors? And it's going to curate a list of individuals who are connected to the hospital who, might be interested in attending our annual gala. So first up, we'll see Rex Tillerson. And he's the CEO of ExxonMobil, and it looks like he's affiliated to a number of individuals who are on the hospital's board of trustees. So, because of those connection points, we believe that, Rex might want to come to, our next event. And it looks like we could get a warm introduction to Rex through Mike Owens, my colleague. But, this list is 4,900 individuals. That's a lot of people to comb through for an event. So we can add a filter option here. So since New York Presbyterian is located in New York, let's say I'm going to look for individuals who are locally close to the hospital. So I'm going to only search for people who are located in New York or New Jersey. And additionally as well, I'd really like them to have affiliation with a hospital. So I'm going to click hospitals and health centers as a cause, and I'm going to click apply. So adding these filters to this list in particular is going to narrow it down to, individuals who are located in that local area to my hospital and are affiliated with a hospital or a health center. As we're waiting for this to load, if anyone has had any questions that have come up, throughout the course of the webinar, please submit them through our question feature, and we will definitely get to your question at the end. So we'll just give this a second to load. All right, so now our list is 1,400 individuals, which is much more manageable than the 4,900. So you'll see Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan. He's located in New York. He's affiliated with other hospitals in the area, and he's also connected to a number of our trustees. So because of these connection points, we think Jamie Dimon might be a person we'd like to extend an invite to for our annual gala. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, and not to list, I'm going to click event. Annual gala event list. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to click view event. So now this event list is going to be in our events tool here, which acts as a folder. So moving forward, if you're an organization that you plan a lot of events, maybe you have 3 or 4 a year, you can keep all of your event stuff in RelSci separate from, your prospect and your target list. It's a nice way to stay organized and keep everything in a designated place. So now you'll see my annual gala event list is right here. Next up we have is our relationship discovery tool. So this is more of our strategic planning, long-term prospecting tool. And essentially, what this tool allows you to do is, let's say I'm a hospital and I want to get all of my board members, a lot more engaged in our hospital and the initiatives that we're doing. If I could get all of their Rolodexes and combine them all and upload them into RelSci, I could probably uncover some really interesting access points. But realistically, it's going to be incredibly difficult for me to get every single contact list from those board members. But relationship discovery allows you to do that here. So you click this change button, and you can type in, a list of your board members. Some of our other, you can type in your top donors list or maybe your relationships and kind of discover the full reach, of that set of individuals. For connection points, we can click first degree relationships, which is going to be anyone we're directly connected to, and second degree is going to be anyone that we can get a warm introduction to. Additionally, we can look for board, C-suite, or other and click apply search. And then this is going to show us the breakdown of who our board members have access to based off of industry, location, or role. I'm going to click explore the relationships, and it's going to break this down by industry. So you'll see on the left-hand side a list of the industries that, our board members have access to individuals who work, in these industries. So for example, investment services, it looks like our board members have a number of, they're connected to, Bain Capital and Stanford University. You can scroll through this list and see, what other industries are our board members, connected to. It looks like we have a number of connection points in the private equity venture capital space, as well as, hospital and patient services. We can kind of scroll through this list and see, what are the industries where our board members have the most connection points to. So, let's say I'm a foundation and I really want to go after more donors in the private equity venture capital space because, these individuals, they usually have the capacity to make those high-level donations that we look for. So you'll see, there are a number of organizations our board members have access to. The number in the middle of the circle is how many people we are connected to at a certain organization. The colors around the chart are how many strong, average, or weak connections we have there. So red will be strong, orange is average, yellow is weak. So we can scroll down here and see, what are the organizations that our board members are connected to in that PEVC arena. Is there any organization in particular, we really wanted to work with executives from, but we just haven't found our way in yet? We can kind of scroll through here and take a look. I'm going to scroll up into Bain Capital Private Equity. So we have 168 possible connection points. You'll see who these individuals are, at this particular company, what role they have. So, Stuart Gent, who is MD and co-head of the Global Portfolio Group, and it looks like we can get a connection point to him through our board member, Mark, or Josh Beckenstein, who is the managing director there, and it looks like our board member, Mark, also has a connection point to him as well. If I wanted to get more information on this, I could click See All, and it'll come up in Pathfinder. I could also print out this report too, let's say for our next team meeting, I wanted to show our colleagues, these are the individuals that we're connected to in the PEVC space, and this is how we could get, a warm introduction, to these individuals in particular. If we go back to relationship discovery, I'm going to show you guys how you can filter it. So maybe if you're not interested in industry connections, but location, you want to see, what cities across the country your board has the most connection points to. There's this toggle button right up here where you can click the drop down and do industry, location, or role. Right now I have it set to location. So you can see, our board members, looks like we have the most connection points in New York, and second is Washington, D.C. So if you wanted to do maybe a location-based initiative and see, who your board members have access to in various cities across the U.S., you can do that here absolutely as well. And you'll click into the city throughout the chart and see, what organizations you guys are most connected to in that particular location. Additionally, as well, if you guys are ever looking at a data point on a profile and you don't see something that you'd like, all you have to do is click this RelSci Services button and click Profile Requests and Data Errors. So let's say, I'm looking at a prospect of mine and, I think they've made some more donations than what it says on their profile page. Type in, give our research team as much information as you can. I'm looking at, George Smith, I think he just made, a large donation to the Ford Foundation. Can you find any information on that? Click Submit, send this note off to our research team. They're going to go out, scour the public domain and see if they can find some updated donation information on that prospect in particular. They'll shoot you a quick note in 2 to 3 business days with the updated link. Also, as well, let's say there are a couple of individuals that you've looked up that aren't profiled in the system. You can absolutely request a profile as well. So you would just click, create new profile. Give our research team, as much information as you can on the person. So let's say, I have George Smith in my contacts. He's a tax partner at PwC, but he's also on the board of March of Dimes, and I think, his profile would, fit in really well in RelSci. You can type that info in and submit it off to our research team, and they'll email you back in 2 to 3 business days, with an updated link. So this concludes today's RelSci webinar. I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes. Please submit any last-minute questions that you might have. If there's anything in this webinar that you thought maybe was confusing or you need more support on, please feel free to contact your account manager to further discuss your organization's specific needs. So right now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to go through some of the questions, and I will pop back on to start our Q&A session. All right, thanks everyone. All right, everyone, now we're going to start our Q&A session with my colleague, Jenny. All right, Jenny, what's our first question?
So our first question is, I'm looking to run paths from my company to American Express, but I'm only interested in our connections to board members. How would I do that?
So I would click into our Pathfinder tool. And I'd go My Firm to, American Express, since that's a corporation you're looking to get a warm introduction to. I'm going to click Show Paths. And since we're only interested in board members, I'm going to click this filter button right here on the right-hand side. And I'm going to unclick C-suite executives and other, and I'm only interested in current board members. So I'm going to click apply, and now my target is only going to be those individuals who are currently a board member at American Express. So it looks like myself and my colleague Mike Owens have tagged that we know Theodore, who is an independent director on the American Express board. So that could be, an interesting access point to just board members at American Express.
Great. The next question is, I want to get news and alerts on my relationships, but I have one particular person who is clogging up my news. How do I remove them from my daily news and alerts digest?
So I'm going to go in and click my relationships. So I already have it set up here that you can see that I get news and alerts, on everyone in my relationships. But for example, let's say, Alan Kohlberg is currently in the midst of a large transaction that he's working on, so it keeps popping up in the news and it's clogging up my news and alerts. All I have to do is hover my mouse over Alan's name and unclick the following button, and I'll be following everyone in my relationships, but I will no longer be following Alan. So now his news and alerts that are specific to him will not be getting sent to my daily digest.
Great. Okay. And so our last question is, how can I see if we know anyone on Verizon's board?
So I'm going to click our Pathfinder tool and do my firm to Verizon. It's just exactly how I would, approach that American Express question we had before. So I'll click Show Path. This is running my firm, how we map as a whole to Verizon. And then I'm going to click this filter button right here. And I'm going to exclude everyone else and only look for our connections to board members at Verizon. You can do current, make the selections for what fits for your report, click Apply. And now it looks like we've mapped our firm to specifically board members at Verizon. So it looks like my colleague Mike has tagged that he knows Mark, who is a board member at Verizon.
We're actually going to do one more question because this one was a little bit similar to our first question on American Express. So last question. I have a donor who I know has a network of wealthy individuals who have also donated to causes similar. Is there a way in RelSci who, out of my donors' contacts, have also donated to higher education and universities?
Absolutely. So what I would do is similar to what we did, pull up that donor in RelSci. Who is that top donor that that has a great list of contacts to work with? So for example, Melody Hobson, I'll choose, from our profile requests before. I would go to the relationship summary section of her profile and click See All. And then just like we did before, I would do this Add to List button for, that top donor that you have a really good relationship. Click the List button and create that list of, that top donor's relationships. Now what I'm going to do is click into Power Search. And I'm going to look for people, out of Melody's contacts who have donated to higher education and universities. So where it says Appears On, I'm going to start typing in that list of relationships that we made for Melody Hobson's contacts, and then I'm going to scroll down and go to our donation section and click higher education and universities. And then I'm going to click search. So now what Power Search is doing is, out of those individuals who are in Melody Hobson's Rolodex, who out of those people have donated to higher education and universities? So let's say, if I'm Princeton University, Melody is affiliated with us. Who does she know that has also, donated to higher ed before? Maybe these could be our prospect list, moving forward. We could ask Melody possibly, for a warm introduction to Patricia, who's donated to the University of San Diego previously. Maybe she would be interested in making a donation to our university as well. And it looks like, Melody could possibly get us a warm introduction to Patricia. So that's just another way that you can use RelSci to, get the most out of your, top donors and see, who's really in their network and who they can possibly connect you with. So that concludes today's RelSci nonprofit webinar. We're going to follow up and send you all a RelSci user guide. If you have any questions or if anything seems unclear from today's webinar, please feel free to reach out to your RelSci account manager. We'll be happy to help you guys in any way that we can. And we look forward to working with you all soon. Bye.